Hatboro-Horsham boys swim team getting up for the competition against Cheltenham. They enter the meet with a 5-1 record, and the Lady Hatters enter the meet undefeated at a 6-0. Let's begin with the 200-yard medley. Hatters in the even lanes, the Panthers swimming in the odd number lanes. Ariel Hammer takes the early lead. She's on the first leg of this race with a backstroke as she makes the first turn. And then we pick up action here coming down the end. The Hatters winning easily. Hannah Parker finishing here a whole lap ahead of her opponents. And the Hatters easily win with a time of 1:55.66. Second place goes to Cheltenham. Third place goes to the Hatters. Now onto the boys 200 medley relay. Hatters in the even lanes, Cheltenham in the odd lanes. And really it's a three-person race in lanes 2, 3, and 4. In 4 we have Luke Emig here on the first leg. And he is trailing the Cheltenham swimmer just by a half length. But Andrew McPoyle picks up the slack here in the second leg and hands it off to Stuart Sumner, who with the butterfly is pulling ahead of the Cheltenham swimmer. And then Nick Giuliani here with the freestyle finishing up the race with a victory. So the Hatters trailed in the beginning and come back to win that race with a time of 1:46.90. Second place goes to Cheltenham with a 1:47.78. And now off to the girls' 200-yard freestyle. For the Hatters, we have racing in lane 2, Sierra Joyce. In lane 4, Julie Bizzomo. And in lane 6, Sierra Schultz. And there we see Julie Bizzomo in lane 4. And then in lane 2, we have Sierra Joyce. And the competition was very close in the beginning. But as you see here, in the end, Cheltenham's Anna Moss easily wins the race. And in second and third place go to the Hatter. Second place goes to Julie Bizzomo. Third place goes to Sierra Joyce. And as we look at their times, Moss with a time of 2:06.14. Second place goes to Bizzomo. Her time is 2:09.75. And Joyce with a time of 2:10.17. The boys 200-yard freestyle. Hatters in lane 2, 4, and 6. Cheltenham just with one swimmer in lane 3, Eli Kaufman. And in lane 4, you see Andrew Best battling Kaufman there. But Kaufman starts to pull ahead. And down the stretch, it was Kaufman all the way as he would end up winning the 200-yard freestyle race. Andrew Best coming in second place. There are the times: 1:53.44 for Kaufman, 1:55.95 for Andrew Best. Now the girls' 200-yard IM. For the Hatters, we have in lane 2, Katie Schmidt, lane 4, Jessica Gudekunst, and lane 6, Elizabeth Wilson. And it really wasn't any contest at all as Jessica Gudekunst won by a lap easily in this race. Time of 2:26.23 is a full 6 seconds ahead of second place swimmer Bridget McHugh from Cheltenham. And now the boys 600-yard IM. Brian Ballman for the Hatters in lane 2, Luke Emig in lane 4, and Dylan Mignona in lane 6. Emig with the early lead in lane 4 as he makes the first turn and extends his lead a little bit. And we pick up action in the last leg of the race, and it's a two-person race. Brian Ballman against Luke Emig. It's going to come down to the wire, and Emig just noses in for the win, and he defeats Ballman by just under a half second with a time of 2:15.80. All right, now we get a good look at Ariel Hammer in the girls' 50-yard freestyle. Hammer in lane 4, Roper in lane 2, and Joyce in lane 6. And here's Hammer down the stretch. It was no contest for her. She easily defeated her opponents with a time of 26.78 seconds. Second place went to Kira Roper with a time of 28.15. Now the boys 50 freestyle. Lane 2, we have Brady McCormick. Lane 4, Stuart Sumner. And lane 6, Nick Giuliani. And into the first turn, it looks like Stuart Sumner is neck and neck with Cheltenham's Eric Williams. It's coming down to the stretch. It's going to be close. Who will win? Oh, looks close. What to look at the times. And Sumner wins for the Hatters by 3/100ths of a second at 22.50. And now on to diving, where we see Anna Cruden-Ear for the Hatters attempting a reverse in a tuck position, a 1.6 difficulty dive. And here it is. Beautiful dive straight in. She received scores of 8, 7, and 7.5 and won the girls overall diving with a score of 196. And in the boys division, we have Joe Brophy for the Hatters. He's attempting a double backflip in a tuck position with a difficulty of 2.2. And Joe does a pretty good job there. He has scores of 6, 6, and 5. His overall score was 246.45, winning the boys division. And now the girls 100-yard butterfly. The Hatters in lanes 2, 4, and 6. In 2, we got Sarah Bozomo. Lane 4 is Hannah Parker. And lane 6 is Madeline Torporowski. And you see Parker in lane 4 with a commanding lead. And she would cruise to the finish line, winning easily in first place with a time of 101.25. And second place went to Sarah Bozomo with a time of 108.8. And there are the results. And now the boys 100-yard butterfly. Only 4 swimmers in this race. 3 of them Hatters in lane 2, 4, and 6. In 2, we have James Engie. In 4, we have Seth Spector. And in lane 6, we have Tyler Warren. And right now, it looks like Spector is taking the early lead. And Spector easily wins this race with a time of 59.34. In second place is teammate James Engie with a time of 102.99. Now we're off to the girls' 100-yard freestyle. For the Hatters, in lane 2, we have Sheila Fisher. In lane 4, Olivia Wilson. And in lane 6, Jennifer Allison. And as we come to the first turn, it looks like it's a dead heat between Anna Moss and Olivia Wilson for the Hatters. But on the final turn, it looked like Cheltenham's Anna Moss, clearly the leader, as she comes and cruises in for the victory. And as we look at the times, Moss with the winning time of 57.59. And in second place goes to the Hatters, Jennifer Allison in lane 6. And now the boys 100 freestyle. We can see here in lane 4 in the close-up of Andrew McCoyle. In lane 2, we had Brian Baum. And in lane 6, we had Matt O'Donnell. But it was all Andrew McCoyle here. He would end up winning the boys 100-yard freestyle with a time of 53.05. Now to the girls' 500-yard freestyle. This is a marathon, a very long race. For the Hatters, we have in lane 2, Sophia Liot. Lane 4 is Vivi Vergara. And in lane 6 is Jackie Guan. Vergara with the early lead and never relinquished that lead. Vivi would end up winning for the Hatters with a time of 5 minutes 20 seconds 0.81. In second place went to Cheltenham, and third went to Sophia Liot for the Hatters. And now to the boys 500-yard freestyle. For the Hatters, we have in lane 2 Eric Thron, in lane 4 Andrew Best, and in lane 6 Andrew Flegler. But this would be Cheltenham's race as they finished first and second. First place went to Eli Kaufman, and second place went to Darian Williams. For the Hatters, Andrew Best finished in third place. And now for the final scores. The girls won by a score of 98 to 83. They move on to be undefeated at 6-0, and the boys team won 91 to 71, and their record improves to 5-1.